Welcome to EilaniGardens.com. Thank you very much for joining us on this important episode on diabetes, which has now been declared an epidemic in America. Over 4,000 Americans every day get diagnosed with diabetes. Over 230 get amputations. Over 55 go blind. And over 810 Americans on average die from diabetes every single day. And here in Waianae, it's especially relevant because there's more children in Waianae getting diabetes than anywhere else in America. And this is our backyard. So we want to do a show about diabetes. But we think even more important and more powerful than these statistics are the stories of the people who have experienced this disease firsthand. This is why I asked my friend John if he would say a few words on this disease called diabetes.
Aloha. My name is John David Iukia Sr. I'm the husband of Ailani, Kaipoka Iukia, my late wife, who passed away May 2008 of diabetes. And my friend Jason asked me if I could give a sort of like a story of what happened to my wife and how she passed away from the illness. Well, you know, being brought up in Hawaii, we have a lot of ethnic groups live here, so, you know, we eat a lot of different foods. You know, back in the day, it was all about surviving. You know, our parents wasn't all that rich, so whatever food we could get, we would eat. And a lot of it was a lot of refined foods, a lot of meat, spams, you know, bacon, eggs, a lot of greasy foods. That was part of our daily diet. We were brought up on that. And then as time went by, you know, we started getting more, I won't say old, but matured in life. And started to get more sick. And then I started to do some research because I was into bodybuilding, powerlifting. Hi, dog. And I learned a lot about eating healthy as I was training. And so I tried to change my family's diet. But at that time, my wife, you know, she was so embedded in the way that we were eating. She didn't want to change. So as time went by, she started to get more sick, and she eventually got the diabetes. And living with a person with diabetes is really not a good thing, because I watched my wife suffer, having different type of ailments, such as her eyes going blind, had one toe cut off, started to get her organs shutting down. Within 5 years, all this, her diabetes started to accumulate and getting worse and worse and worse. And I found out that the medical field cannot help people with diseases. All they can do is just suppress the ear pills, and those pills also have a lot of side effects. And that's what happened, you know. My wife started to get other type of ailments that were caused by different medications that she was taking. And eventually she ended up on dialysis. But prior to that, I took her to a naturopathic doctor. I took her to an herbal doctor. I did everything I felt I could do, humanly possible, to try to save my better half. But eventually, the disease consumed her. And May 1st, 2008, I was about to get up to go to work, and my wife asked me if I could let her go. That was almost saddest decision I had to make. As much as I love my wife and to keep her alive, she had to stay on dialysis. But I could not fathom her pain that she was going through. So I grabbed her, I hugged her. And I told her, babe, do you really want to go? She said yes. I kissed her and I said, okay. And 2.5 weeks, she was gone. Yeah. And so from that time, I told myself I better start taking care of myself.